So, well, thanks, Iker, for taking the time to explain a bit what's WebAR, what you do, who you are, and why we should be all excited about this. So I'll do a quick word about WebXR Paris. So it's the second meetup we're doing. We'll do it here in Numa, which is an incubator for all the sexy high-tech scene in Paris. So that is nicely welcoming us. And the idea is we did a meetup a month ago, more or less, called WebVR Paris, but things moved too fast. So since then, during Google I/O, you announced Chromium WebAR. So we had, of course, to change from just WebVR to WebXR to keep up with AR and VR and maybe MR or whatnot. We'll see if we can keep relevant with definitions. So yeah, can you first introduce a little bit what you do at Google?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, I'm sorry that I cannot attend. I'm actually going to be in Europe at the time, but I'm gonna miss this one. And I think it's a great effort that you're doing there. So just to push WebXR forward. So. Yeah, my name is Iker Jamardo. I'm a tech lead inside Daydream, in charge of WebXR, and yeah, I've been working on the web and trying to push it forward for several years now. Previously, I was the CTO at the startup called Blue Day, working on HTML5 games, and yeah, what we're doing here is trying to show the world that the web, it could be a very good option for these new emerging technologies as virtual reality and augmented reality. That's the main purpose of the team, and that's why we released this prototype to try to also leverage the augmented reality for the web.
Great.
Yeah, a little bit about the project. Just an overview about it is first of all, we call it WebAR. But definitely it's not an official spec or anything like that. It's mainly a prototype. It's a proof of concept. We wanted to show that there is an opportunity here to leverage augmented reality in the web. I really think actually that it makes so much sense because augmented reality for a while is going to be about short experiences, useful information, and that is definitely what the web is great about, right? Just downloading an app for something that you just want to consume for a couple of seconds or less than a minute is definitely not the way to go, as the way I see it. And so that's why we wanted to push this as fast as we could and get the conversation going, right? A very important conversation about how this spec should move forward. On that type, we built it on top of WebVR for now because WebVR is more advanced. And virtual reality and augmented reality, they share some common features like motion tracking, right? So we used that as a baseline. So.
Okay. I will briefly show a bit the Chromium WebAR GitHub to show what it is exactly about, and some of the nice examples also that I didn't see just after the announcement, I think on Google I/O, like for example, what was it, the occlusion I did not see before, that really worked well, and the Wayfair demo also. So like I'm briefly showing a bit on my screen, selecting the asset and then unboxing it, and it's definitely.
Yeah. So I mean. First of all, with this prototype, what it tries to do is expose low-level APIs like Tango in a more webby way. If you use Tango in a low level, it requires you to initialize a lot of things and understand some things that are happening. And we wanted to make it that much easier. For post-estimation, as I mentioned, we're just using WebVR. And for everything else, we are exposing some other features. And those features are the ones that they're enabling these kind of like very interesting use cases, like how to do occlusion, using some of the sensors that Tango is providing, like the depth sensor. But there will be more features to come. Tango has tons of features, and we're trying to expose all of them actually.
I just show a little bit what Tango is, because you know what
yeah.
it is, but then after that, maybe not everybody knows.
Yeah.
That started like what in October in the end, or October November last year. That we could finally buy
Yeah.
the phones from like Lenovo.
Well, Tango, it's been out there for a while, and one thing that I want to mention is that Tango, it's right now very tied to hardware, but Tango is a full stack of augmented reality capabilities, right? Some of them, they are tied to new hardware, as you mentioned. So in October last year, there was the first commercial product out there, that is the Lenovo Fab 2 Pro. Here in the summer, there's a new device that has been announced that is called the Asus Zenfone AR. That is actually more like not a phablet, but more like a phone that has all these features. And Tango, even though it has a different layer stack, the full Tango experience right now has, first of all, a wide field of view camera that you can see here. This camera is being used as an RGB camera. It is not the regular camera that you have, that actually the regular camera is up here. And it's used for feature detection. So it just detects the different interesting points on the scene that you can have. And it uses those plus a combination of sensors like accelerometer and gyroscope, what we call the IMUs, to be able to get a pose estimation, where the device is regarding to those features in the real scene, right? It also has another hardware feature, that is this IR camera. It's an infrared camera, and the infrared camera, what allows you to do is to get a depth sensing image. That depth sensing image, it allows you to know the depth of things, and it allows you to do, for example, a mesh reconstruction. You can create a mesh of your surrounding space. And also it allows you to very accurately position objects in the space, right? Much better than what you can do with a pose estimation or what is called segmentation using just the RGB camera, right? If you have this kind of hardware, you definitely can do very interesting augmented reality experiences.
When we use those, for example, either the developer kit for Tango or the Lenovo Fab 2 Pro, we can see either the point cloud or even the mesh being constructed, and for a lot of us it looks like just magic. So how is that actually happen? How is the space that we see in front of us getting mapped?
Yeah, so, well, the infrared camera, it just emits a pulse of infrared light. And then the camera has a filter that it just perceives that image, right? So it's getting a full image. It's like, it looks like a grayscale image, and then from that one there is an algorithm to calculate the point cloud, and from the point cloud it's possible to calculate the mesh. So we are actually in the WebAR a project that we released right now. At this moment, the point cloud has been exposed, so you are able to get that information, and you can just manipulate it in JavaScript. You can use it in WebGL just to show it, or even you can use it to do something like occlusion, for example, right? And it's definitely a very interesting feature to have. And I agree with you. It's nearly like magic, but that's what the Tango SDK is doing underneath, right? It's just making those kind of like complicated processes much easier for the developer.
Some of the successful part of WebVR now is frameworks that simplify even more. Like we already had 3GS to make 3D quite easy and efficient on the web, and now we have A-Frame from Mozilla on how you can just use declarative, and you want to do like a sphere and you have a sphere in front of you. So far there is no such thing for AR. We have, for example, through ArcGIS, some way to use A-Frame with ArcGIS, but it's with the limitation of the hardware that ArcGIS supports, which is right now like just Android and its camera. So is there either a plan to have a framework or a higher level language for WebAR? Is there a plan to, if not integrate with A-Frame? Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. Tools are super important in this space. So the first thing that we have done, because it was the easiest for us, it was to provide some kind of tooling and a library for 3ds. So there is an easier way of using these APIs using 3ds, right? So most of the examples, even though there is also a plain WebGL based example, and the API is not that complicated. It's like the same as WebAR. It's not a complicated API for now, but definitely going that low level for developers is definitely cumbersome. So we are supporting 3ds for now. Definitely talking to Mozilla, also talking to the A-Frame community. And yeah, I mean, we want to integrate as much as possible with a lot of existing frameworks that are out there, right? And we're going to actively working on that. So.
Okay, we went through the list. Just then, for me, out of curiosity, is there like something a bit special about game development or a 3D development on the web in Spain? Because there are quite a few guys from around Madrid, like Spite or Mr. Do, Boface, or you. Is like a good real-time 3D development school there, or is it like just random, or?
Well, actually, no. I mean, now there are some degrees, but Spain hasn't been a hotspot for game development related education. But I really think that Spain has a good education overall, and there is a lot of people with a lot of passion, and that they are very hardworking individuals, I would say. And even in the 80s, the game development scene had good developers from Spain. It hasn't been a big industry for us, not like in France, for example, right? Like Ubisoft and a lot of, especially like 3D infographics, right? Like France has been a major country with 3D graphics for a long time, right? I don't know. I mean, I just guess that it's just like the passion that we have about the space, and we have been trying to work as hard as we can just to be able to do that, to be in that space and show the world that we are able to build cool stuff, right? That more than anything.
It works.
Yeah. No, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the combination, but I cannot give you more information about that. I don't think that there is a specific education for that. There is now, but it hasn't been historically.
Okay. And then last question for now. Of course, I'll have a bunch of questions after, but we're going to a bit later this evening during the event, the WebXR meetup. We're going to do a workshop on using Chromium WebAR. So I'll bring the Tango, and we'll do something. Precisely what is still open. So let's imagine that we will just have 1 hour, so don't get too excited. But if you were to see something cool out of it, what would you hope to see?
I don't know. I want to be surprised, right? Okay. So I hope that the people that attend they find the usage as simple as possible, and I would love to get as much feedback as possible. And if there is any cool demos that comes out from it, even though if it's just like a basic example, just a little bit of a modification on top of it, I will more than happy to try to promote as much as possible. So just ping me when you have some results from there, and I will try to use all our social media power to be able to promote it as much as possible. And maybe even if there is something that is open source, we can just even link it or put it in our Chromium repository. And please, feedback. That's the best outcome that I can get right now is people using this and get as much feedback as possible.
Great, we'll do. We'll
That's great. I'm super excited about this, and I'm really sad that I cannot attend because, especially because if I were in the United States like I'm right now, but I will be in Europe, and it's just a pity. But definitely, I really thank you that there is this interest in this project. I'm really passionate about this space for a long time now. I've been working in AR for a while, and it's great to see that there are people trying to use it and leverage this and promote it, right? So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. It's actually happening.
It's great, right?
Yeah. When you're inside it, when you're really in it, it feels really slow, but still step by step we're getting there. We're making stuff, so no, it's great.
I really hope that we will have more examples and more use cases to show by the time of the meetup, but I cannot promise anything, right? We will definitely work hard on that, and maybe you will have more ammo for just trying to build something on top of it. So.
And it's a shame that you can't come this time. But first, well, thanks again for taking the time now, and it means also next time then you'll have to be there.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, definitely. I will definitely try my best. So.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye bye.